Am I good to go? Yeah, okay. So, okay, VGT Adam here. Oh my god. Okay. I just saw Dragon Ball Super Broly. Holy fucking shit. Okay. So, I'm gonna try my best to sound as professional as I can. It won't work really well, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so let me start like this. Broly's famous. Everybody knows who Broly is. That's why this movie was so anticipated. Even I was anticipating it, and I'm not that huge of a Broly fan. Technically, it's the first Dragon Ball movie I've seen in theaters. Actually, it's the first animated film I've seen in theaters. For reasons. But, I was anticipating this movie, but let's be honest, Broly movies hit or miss. Like, the first one, the movie overall itself was fine, but Broly, like, okay, if you really think about this, Broly's backstory isn't that bad. He had a huge power level as a kid, as a baby. King Vegeta feared it big time. Tried to have Paragus executed and tried to have Broly killed. Which, small little side here, I had no idea that I had the censored version because when I was a kid, I'm like, oh my god, there's blood. There's got to be this has to be the uncensored version. But it's like, I didn't see the uncensored version until a few years ago when Toonami showed it. I'm like, because I saw one scene, I'm like, wait, I don't remember seeing that. Then I saw another, like, I don't remember that either. Is this the uncut version? Then I saw the shadow of baby Broly getting stabbed and hearing his blood-curdling scream. I'm like, yeah, this is the uncut version. But anyway, so, feared by his race, tried to be executed, and in the middle of his planet blowing up, he has an uncontrollable power, and his dad tries to subdue him, so he's pretty much in a state of, he's more or less just a walking vegetable, because he's conscious, obviously, but he has, like, no free will, his whole life sucks. That's an interesting backstory. The problem was his motivation. He didn't like Goku because Goku cried as a baby. That is fucking stupid. Let's all be honest. So while the movie itself could have been fine, that whole original movie had other problems as well, like the whole side plot of the city and everything. Broly's backstory wasn't bad. His motivation was awful. That's the thing most people remember, and like they usually lump his motivation with his backstory, and I can see why they say his backstory is horrible. His backstory is not that bad. His motivation was fucking awful. And then Broly's a character. He's not a character. He's not. He's just a walking rage machine. Like, sometimes that can be endearing, like the Hulk, but at the same time, he has that Bruce Banner part to even him out. And, you know, Hulk is also a little bit, like, you know, like a child, so that kind of brings a little charm to it. Broly is just a monster, and while I think that's fine, it does not make for a compelling character for 3 fucking movies. So the first movie got him popular, he's just a complete monster, everything, okay, whatever. Second Coming. Movie sucks. Broly's even worse in it. That second movie just it's the main reason like people think Broly can't talk, because in that first movie he does talk, like mostly in his legendary Super Saiyan form, which is weird, but he does talk. Starting the second movie, all he can say is Kakarot. He has one actual line. People I don't think realize that it's what was the exact line? It's like, then I'll see you lie dead at my feet or something like that. But otherwise he's just either screaming or saying Kakarot. And that movie is not good in any way. Even Broly is just not good. And then Bio Broly, we want to talk about Bio Broly. So, the idea of rebooting Broly and making him canon, first off, is a wet dream for literally everybody, including Toei themselves. But it's also a good idea. In some cases, like, when that first trailer came out, which, by the way, that trailer is straight up in the movie. They just straight up ripped that, because that trailer was supposed to be concept, and then the actual part would be different. They just straight up took that trailer, put it in the movie, bam. But when it first came out, we thought it was because we were hearing a bunch of stories about Yamoshi, the original Super Saiyan God, right? And how... And like the whole story about that, so we thought, oh, so somehow either Yamoshi's still alive, or they bring him back to the Dragon Ball or something like that, and they fight him. That's what the original idea was. In hindsight, it's kind of stupid because like who else has green energy but Broly? But it's like, hey, at the time we had no idea. Then it was revealed to be Broly, and besides the fact he looks like a very threatening Yamcha, I had mixed thoughts. Like like, okay, I thought the reboot could fix the character and make him interesting. Because, you know, the problem was he wasn't a character. His backstory was okay, but couldn't have worked upon, and his motivation sucked and could have been fixed. So, redoing the character, with Toriyama redoing the character himself this time, that could be, you know, interesting, could make him interesting. It also could tie into a long-time fan theory I had, where, like, because, you know, they always said, oh, the legend of the Super Saiyan, legend of Super Saiyan. And in canon, you know, it was the Super Saiyan that Goku got. But I always thought, like, but the Super Saiyan was supposed to be this vicious beast. And that seems more like Broly. After all, the form was called Legendary Super Saiyan. Now it's either like Super Saiyan Berserker or Full Power Super Saiyan. I don't know. But I always thought that's what it was. And it could tie in. And in some way it was. Because, skipping a little ahead here, in the movie, they always talk about the Legendary Super Saiyan. And it seems more like that's Broly. It really does. Like, it seems like the Super Saiyans that we have is more of this gentler mutation. Like, it still gives them more primal instincts. But it's like gentler in a way. And that Broly is actually the actual real Super Saiyan of legend. Or a descendant of it. And I thought that if this Broly did well enough, it could kill the old idea of Broly. He might have been popular, sure, but the old Broly sucked, and this new one could replace him, and I hope that's the case. I also had some negative thoughts originally when it was first revealed, because I'm thinking, like, okay, we establish all this stuff. We have Beerus come in for Battle of Gods. All of a sudden, this new whole plane opens up. Goku gets in transformation. And then they do a thing where they bring back a character. They bring back Frieza. Granted, it's technically the first time he was actually brought back canonically. People think, oh, Frieza's brought back all the time. If you think about it, canonically, this is the first time he's brought back. Non-canonically, yeah, he was brought back a lot. Canonically, Resurrection F is the first time Frieza came back. But it's like, you have this whole world open up, and you bring back Frieza? Really? Of all things? And then the movie and the arc, or kind of, well, the movie has its moments, but the arc, fucking awful. So I thought, they're doing this again, they're bringing back another character. What's next? Gonna be cooler? That seems to be the rumor. Make cooler canon. This movie doesn't seem to imply, because it just says his one son, doesn't mention another son, for King Cold. So it's like, really, Broly, you're gonna bring back Broly? Really? You had no other option. You teased us going to Universe 6 and having Adventures in Universe 6, and while the show could go there, really, Broly. And then I thought, like, then what's the point of Kale's existence? The whole point of Kale, Caulifla and Kale are both to answer demands of female Super Saiyans, because female Saiyans are rare to begin with, and we want to see some female ones plus make them Super Saiyan. We got that with Caulifla and Kale. Kale was also to make Broly canon, because at the time, Broly's not canon, but people love him, and he makes money, so let's find some way, not exactly him, but what people like about him to make him canon. That's the whole point of Kale, right? I should probably mention that I'm just completely going to spoil the Broly movie when I get to it. But I do want to say, like, they don't even mention Kale at all when Broly starts, you know, being similar to her. Like, not a thing, so even more credence to the fact that Kale is literally pointless. And then originally when it says it's going to tie into the same origin, I thought literally the origin of the race, not the origin of Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. And I was worried because we saw Toriyama reinvent a character before, and it was bad. And that's Dragon Ball Minus, with Bardock and Goku's whole backstory. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Dragon Ball Minus is technically Toriyama's official version of Bardock, the father of Goku. Because all the movies are not canon, and then there were two TV specials. The two TV specials were Bardock, father of Goku, and History of Trunks. Both of them, I think, started off as non-canon, and then became semi-canon, and because Bardock to Father Goku was not canon. It was a fun little story that the team at Toei back in the day decided to do. Toriyama liked it so much, he had a quick little thing explaining, oh, Frieza recognized this one guy, and Goku looks like this one guy, and then the narrator gives something that neither character knows as, oh, this is Goku's father. And if you're reading only the manga, which, what the hell are you doing reading only the manga? But you probably question, what's that about? Wait, Goku's father, go more into that. But either way, there was a TV special, but since Toriyama put him in the manga, that makes him canon. That TV special becomes canon. Same thing in History of Trunks 2, although I think the TV special is way better than how the manga handled it. But yeah, Bardock, father of Goku, and History of Trunks both became canon. Many years later, Toriyama decides, you know what, as much as I like Bardock, father of Goku, I'm going to redo it in my own way. And there were so many retcons, and it just was not good. Like, it made Frieza being aware of Super Saiyan is one thing, and then made him aware of Super Saiyan God, which makes no sense, because it's not like, oh, our studies show that we can't tell the difference. No. Then it gets rid of Frieza's whole purpose of he's afraid of the Super Saiyan, because now he knows there's a better version of Super Saiyan out there. That makes no sense to me. In his case, like, oh, well, he fears that they can become either. That just is so stupid. So there was that. There was making Bardock a much more gentler version. Like, Saiyans are still ruthless. Bardock's still a ruthless fighter, but he's basically just serious Goku. Instead of making him he was a thug. In the original TV special, he was a thug. He was the epitome of just your average Saiyan. And it's what made him interesting. Like, oh, the father of our main hero is not like our main hero. Our main hero is kind and gentle, and his father is just a complete bastard. That's kind of interesting. And even by the end, he's not a good guy. He's basically looking out for himself. He doesn't care about Goku. Goku's sent off. He's not even trying to save the same race. He gives an attempt. But he's like, you know what? Fuck these guys. I'm not going to try and save them. I'm going to save my own skin. He tries to fight Frieza for himself and save himself. The only thing that seems kind of heroic, even though it isn't, is by the end, he sees a vision of Goku eventually facing off against Frieza. Boy, how much that must suck now, knowing that Frieza's still alive and Goku helped that. He's a thug. He's just your average Saiyan who did get kind of powerful by the end. He was looking out for himself, and the only kind of thing he has that, oh, he might not care about his family and anything like that, and it made him interesting. This Dragon Ball Minus version of Bardock is just serious Goku, and they try to do it where Gine, which is Goku's mother, which is one of the few things that Dragon Ball Minus does right, is showing us Goku's mother and mentioning Raditz, since seems to forget about Raditz. Like, he wasn't even mentioned. He was barely mentioned, not even mentioned in the TV special. So then Raditz is a thing. They show Gine. That's one of the good things, but they mention like, oh, well, Saiyan fathers don't usually care about your son, so why do you care so much about Kakarot? That's their thing for, like, he's still kind of not like that? Really? It's so clumsy, and I just hate it. And, like, everything that made Bardock interesting, including his armor, because all the Saiyan armor is just generic as shit. It's not as unique as it used to be. It's just not good, and I don't like Dragon Ball Minus at all. Which is why, if anyone saw this movie, because they were teasing, like, not teasing, they said, oh, in limited theaters you can watch the original Broly movie, the Bardock TV special, and Fusion Reborn. If you never saw the TV special, and then you see this movie, the TV special, I'm guessing you would like better. Maybe not, I don't know. I think it's better for Bardock and everything like that, but this is the canon version now. It also ages Goku up to being, instead of heading to Earth as an infant, he's now 3 years old. Which just changes the age of everything. And like, it was never shown in the manga of him being an infant, but it was mentioned. This little infant boy. He was an infant. Unless you count 3 years old as an infant. So it ages Goku up. It ruins Bardock's character. It mentions stuff. It also said that Beerus ordered Frieza to destroy Planet Vegeta, which was taken out of the movie, thank God. But I hate Dragon Ball Minus. And the problem is that Dragon Ball Minus is now officially canon, because not only is it in the manga, it's in this canon movie. It's a little expanded upon, sure, but it's in this canon movie, and it's the weakest part of the film, and it's right at the beginning. And the film starts with Frieza now being in charge. Like, King Cole says, oh, I'm retiring, Frieza's in charge, and then Frieza shows a dominance, like, hey, I have power over you. That's fine. Then you have the thing where, I'm going to full spoilers for the movie, so I'm not going to go past, I'm not going to, God, this is sloppy. I'm going to full spoilers, just warning right there. So, then you had the thing where King Vegeta is proud of his son and his latent potential, and then Prince Vegeta, which apparently is Vegeta the Fourth, that's interesting, he's going to become a great warrior. And then he sees Broly, and it's like, wait, why is this low-class Saiyan baby here? This is only for people who are high-class. Like, well, Broly's potential is high. And like the original movie, King Vegeta is afraid of that, and instead of executing Broly, he mentions he could have. But instead of executing him, he decides to put him on like a very dangerous planet to probably just, be killed. And Paragus doesn't like that. And he doesn't execute Paragus, but Paragus is right that King Vegeta was just jealous of Broly, that's why he's sending him off, and Paragus goes after that. That part of the movie is fine. That is all good and fine. And then gets to Dragon Ball Minus, which it actually cuts out the part of Bardock in the middle of conquering a planet, which is interesting. And his reason for doubting Frieza is not just, oh, I've seen visions of Frieza going to destroy us, it's, I have this weird hunch. Granted, he does use his brain and figure it out, and like, this seems a little weird. But the vision thing was kind of a Deus Ex Machina, but it was something than just, I have a hunch. And then Not only that, but they still try to have that because at the end of the TV special, Bardock has his rebellion, and that's why Frieza remembers him because he was the last Saiyan to stand up to him, and Frieza saw that. They still try to have the rebellion. They cut right past it. So if you never saw the TV special, it'll probably be like, wait, why is he all beat up? What the hell's going on? Because it's not like he's like in pure top form. He's like all beat up and destroyed like when he's trying to stop the Death Ball. And Frieza doesn't see him because at that point he would be behind the Death Ball. So there's no way Frieza would be able to remember him. So it's just a sloppy way of trying to tie it into. In the manga it was like this. I got tied into that way somehow. It was sloppy. It was really bad, and I hate it. And if when I rewatch this movie, I'm going to try my best to ignore it. I know it's canon now, and it sucks, but it's the worst part of the movie, honestly. It's not horrible, because like I said, the Vegeta part's fine, the Broly part is fine, it's the Goku backstory part I just hate. It's awful, and I hate it. And it is the worst part of the movie. It's not bad, but it is the worst part. And the whole, in the first 20 or 30 minutes you'll cry, it's because they play sad music when Goku leaves, and sad music is during the planet's destruction. That's it. It's just trying to play with your emotions and not actually that sad. The fact that they said that, it's very bold because in what Dragon Ball movie would be like, oh my god, you might cry? None of them. But this one, that's bold, but because they play sad music. That's all it is. And, more of the Superman comparisons and blah, 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 blah. So, then it cuts to, present day. We have a bunch of stuff, Dimension from my power. All the basic stuff you think. So, Broly in this movie is actually a character now. He is basically just, what if Goku was more savage? Because Broly in this movie is a kind-hearted Saiyan. He's pure-hearted like Goku. He doesn't, unlike Goku though, he doesn't like to fight. He only fights because his father demands him. And he does have the restraint. This time it's not just magic restraint thing that was once made for you. It's a fucking shock collar. That's way more brutal. But he does have restraints. But he doesn't like to fight. He only fights because Paragus wants him to fight. So I like that. I like that Broly is a character. He doesn't like to fight, but he has his enormous strength that he could fight with. And Frieza... Oh, and they took out the thing about Beerus ordering Frieza. Thank God. I just wish they could have fixed it up more, but whatever. So Broly, they find Broly. When fucking God, that the way they just introduce him is amazing. Oh, I forgot to mention, they do have quick things of Kid Vegeta and Kid Raditz, whose balls apparently dropped at the age of 5. They probably didn't want to get child actors or anything, but even if you get Justin Cook and Chris Sabat to go as high as they can, they're still going to sound like adult men voicing kids. So apparently these 5-year-olds hit puberty. Okay, so... And it's kind of interesting how Raditz is like, oh yeah, my parents mentioned he's going somewhere, but it's not a big deal to me. So, I mean, that's a nice way of tying it, and even the manga didn't do that, so that's fine. But I do like the way Broly is portrayed in this film. He still has that savage side, he still has the uncontrollable side, and he gets stronger and stronger as he gets more powerful and everything like that. But he's a character. I like that. This Broly is so much better. He might have actually less lines now that I think about it. Maybe? I don't know. But he's so cool. Not cool. He's just much more interesting. And Paragus is more or less the same as he was in the first movie, in the original movie. Nothing's really changed other than his design, and even then, not that much. But Broly is just so much more interesting. The fact that he's more or less just a more savage version of Goku, and I like that. So Frieza finds them, and Frieza's trying to collect the Dragon Balls because now apparently Frieza is General Red. So for anyone who doesn't know Dragon Ball, General Red was the general of the Red Ribbon Army. The people who the androids and everything, the Red Ribbon Army. Yeah, that whole arc in Dragon Ball. And he was basically a terrorist, and his whole thing for getting the Dragon Balls wasn't world domination. It's I'm short, I want to make myself taller. That's it. And Dragon Ball, granted, was a gag series mostly at the time. It got more serious as it went on, but at the time it was a gag series, so it kind of worked. Frieza doesn't want immortality anymore because he says, I've seen what it's like to die, and I don't know, some weird explanation. But he's like, I want to be taller, but not by much. I want to be more natural, like I'm still growing. It's like funny, yes. And Frieza's still threatening in this movie, don't get me wrong. But God, is that awful. Anyway, so it's a joke, but he's General Red now. Frieza's still a villain. Don't worry, he doesn't turn to the side of good. If you saw him fighting Broly in the trailers, he's still a villain. Don't worry about that. So they find Broly, they see his potential, they see how violent he can be. One thing that is interesting about this movie is that it kind of takes a bit of an Infinity War approach to things, where Broly's kind of the protagonist. Like, Goku and Vegeta get their time, but we know everything we need to know about them. There's nothing really to add to them. Other than the fact that it's kind of interesting that Goku actually doesn't really want to fight. Like, he does. He's like, oh, I want to test my skill against Broly, but it's like, you know what? I don't really want to fight you. That's interesting, but Broly's kind of the protagonist of this film. I like that. I know this is probably in production. Wait a minute, no, because Infinity War came out in May of last year. Okay, so they might have taken some inspiration. No? I don't know. But still, yes, Broly's more or less the protagonist of the film. I do like that. Instead of just being just the villain. And they changed the motivation, kind of. Broly himself has no stakes in his father's revenge. But Paragus, like in the original, hates Prince Vegeta because of what King Vegeta did. However, this time, he makes sure Broly doesn't like Vegeta too. That is way better. He has no beef with Goku. Frieza has the beef with Goku. Broly has no beef. He charges after Vegeta first. That is fantastic. That is great. I love that so much that they finally fixed that. So then the movie happens, and I'm going to go over more of the plot before I get into the best part of the movie. Best parts. The whole fight ensues. We see that, Broly gets more powerful and everything like that. And, the one character, Chi-Lai, doesn't like seeing Broly fight, and whatever. But we see all that, all the stuff you saw in the trailers, just, much more of it. And then Vegeta steps aside for Goku, which I'll get to how that's a little weird later. But Vegeta steps aside, Goku has the fight, Broly gets even stronger, whoops their asses, everything like that. Goku gets more powerful, blah, 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 blah. But Goku's fight with Broly lasts a lot longer, because, Vegeta still had strength. He could have easily came back, but he's just, while Broly's destroying the planet, he's just standing there. It's like, you think he decided to switch out. There's a certain point where he's like, okay, I hate to admit this, but we have to work together. That's fine. But it's this whole time, Goku's getting this huge fight, and, at one point getting his ass beaten. Vegeta's just, standing there, I guess? I don't know. But Broly never became a Super Saiyan, because they thought that was just a myth, a legend, which is fine. It makes sense. So then Frieza does the dick move of killing Paragus to get Broly to become a Super Saiyan. And it makes sense, because they even show a little thing oh, he remembers killing Krillin did it, so that's how he does it. Fine. It's all good, and it works, and it's great. Because it's Broly doesn't want to fight, but he's so consumed by rage, he just keeps fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. That's fine. I like that. I like that he's kept the viciousness that we love from the original, but also gave him a character. This movie fixes Broly, and that's what makes me so happy, and that's what I wanted this movie to do, and it succeeded in every regard of that. So, Paragus gets killed, and he's just offed, which is fine, because he was a dick, and he deserved to die, so it's fine. I guess he's an OG Saiyan, so it makes sense that he'd be a dick, but still, he was a dick, and he's dead. So then that happens, and then they realize they can't fight, they can't win. So what they do is Frieza still has not learned his lesson from when he originally fought Goku, because when he fought Goku, he ended up cutting himself with his own discs, and they decide to redirect Broly while they escape, and Broly and Frieza had this mostly off-screen fight because Frieza didn't learn his lesson about being redirected. So, Goku and Vegeta retreat, and that's how they train to become Gogeta, which I am so happy now that Gogeta is canon also. Oh my god, Gogeta is canon. But I like because they do mess up twice, and the 30-minute time limit. I love the idea. It rushes through, because obviously you can't have this whole thing. It rushes through it. But I love the idea that Broly just beats Frieza's shit in for an hour. That is so good. Especially with all the stuff Frieza's done in this movie, getting his comeuppance is so satisfying. But I love the idea that for a whole hour this happens. And then Gogeta comes in. He more or less wins the fight. And then the most interesting thing happens is that they use the wish for the Dragon Balls to send Broly back to his original planet. So Broly does not die in this film. Broly survives. Not only that, Goku seeks him out, and he's like, hey, you're more or less another training buddy. You're going to be a friend of mine. And I do kind of like that. It's weird. I don't like Goku always making friends with his enemies, but in Broly's case, it's cool, especially now with this new version. Like, I can never see him being friends with the old version, ever. Like, I can never see a Goku Frieza team up like they did in the Tournament of Power with Broly. Never. I can never see that. With this Broly, yes, and I actually do want to see more of it. So he kind of wants to become friends and sparring partners with Broly, and this Broly seems okay with that. Not only that, you want to know his huge recognition? Vegeta is the only person allowed to say Kakarot, because Goku recognizes Vegeta as a Saiyan and whatever kind of thing you want to come up. At the end of the movie, Goku goes, "Oh yeah, my name's Goku. But Broly, you can call me Kakarot." He acknowledges Broly is an equal, and he's allowing some other Saiyan to say his original name. And that is fan-fucking-tastic. So, the overall movie, before I get into the best parts, which is, you should know what it is. Even if you haven't seen it, you should know. The beginning part is 2/3 okay, 1/3 awful, and it's the Dragon Ball Minus part. Then the rest of it is just a pretty basic movie, granted. But it's just so good, and Broly's actually a really good character, and I really like this movie because of that. The best parts of the best parts of the movie is the art and the animation. Holy fucking god, the art and the animation. The art style changed, and I do like it, because I was kind of getting sick of the old style. And the animation, Jesus Christ, the animation is amazing. Like, hot damn, it is the best, probably the best 2D animation I've ever seen. There are a couple times where even the CG isn't bad. The CG in this movie actually looks pretty good. Like, the animation is just phenomenal. And, like, the fights just, they actually do choreography of the fights too. There are a couple times where just, beating them up like normal, but the choreography and the animation, it's just so good. It's amazing. And that is the reason why you should watch this movie, is the animation and the art style. Because if you don't like the plot, you don't like how some things happen, watch it for the art and animation. And the choreography. Just fucking god, it's awesome. And especially when Gogeta comes in, just, oh god. There is one weird moment where they fight so hard they open a new dimension. I don't know, because even Gogeta's like, what the hell? But they never mention it. They fight in this new dimension, and then just get out of it. And it's like, what? Huh? And there is one more legitimate problem with the movie, is that we are all waiting for Broly's big transformation to his final form, his Legendary Super Saiyan form. And we thought it'd just be this huge, momentous occasion. Unfortunately, it follows the same problem that a lot of Dragon Ball Super does, where characters can just pop into these transformations never done before like that. It happens in the manga and in the anime that these characters who've certain transformations they never know about, they just pop into it. And unfortunately, it happens here too, because you have his weird human Ozaru form, which is built up, his Super Saiyan form, which is built up, but his Legendary Super Saiyan form, he just pops into it. We do get a cool charge sequence, but you think something as iconic as that, they would actually put full focus on him doing. No, and just in the middle of that weird dimension part, he just pops into it. And I don't understand why they did that. And it's even hard to tell, because like he just pops into it and it's like, wait, is he in the form? And they come back to the real world, again, not explaining why they're in this dimension. It's like, oh, he's just in this form. Oh, okay then, that's weird. Okay. And that is a little, I wouldn't say it is a nitpick. It's not a huge problem. Like, the biggest problem with the movie is the Dragon Ball Minus part. But other than that, the movie is fine. The characters are all good. Some of them are memorable. Like, Broly is way better this time. This movie is just so good. I don't know if I would call it the best Dragon Ball movie, but I could definitely see other people calling it best Dragon Ball movie. It is just phenomenal. So all the Broly shit in the past is fixed. The Bardock stuff, not so much. But the art style and the animation, like, if you thought episode 130 and 131 of Super were good, you ain't seen nothing. This is, I know that when the show comes back, it's gonna have this new art style. It won't have the animation quite as good, because this is a movie. But God, do I hope it has something close. It is so good. It's the main reason to watch this movie. It's just amazing. And like, I saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse like a few weeks ago, and that had amazing 3D animation. But I still think that 2D animation, honestly, because it's so much harder to do, I think it still tops it. They both are great animated movies. I think Spider-Verse is actually the better overall movie. But for Dragon Ball, or just in general, this movie is just so good. It does have problems, like I've been mentioning, but it's so good. And by the end, like I said, Broly lives. Goku helps him out, and Broly lives. Now, Broly does have people. He has Chi-Lai and the other guy. I don't know. So I guess the other guy's going to be more of a father figure, and Chi-Lai. I guess Broly's going to learn what sex is now. But, I mean, you know, if I was stranded on a planet with a hot girl, too, I would, you know, make sure to take advantage of that. But this movie, you just need to see it. I cannot describe how well done the animation is. The plot stuff, I said, you know, the first part's meh, and it goes through, and a couple little bumps here and there, but overall the plot is just fine. It's kind of generic, but it's fine. But it's just so good, and I don't want to give this film a rating. I do give a recommendation though. Watch this movie. This movie is fucking good. I know that there was a planned 3-hour version of this movie. I kind of really want to see that version. Like, I know that's not going to happen, but I would love the 3-hour version of this movie just so much. Anyway, just Dragon Ball Super Broly. You brought me around on Broly. I want to see more of him. God, I wonder what the next movie is going to be. Because first of all, don't bring another new character. Make a new character. Don't bring someone back. But I want to see more of Broly. I really do. Because he's alive now. There's always a chance he could come back. I want to see this. So those are my ramblings on Dragon Ball Super Broly. If you haven't watched it, try your damnedest to watch it. It's so good. It's so good.